Hi, and welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. I was going to do a regular YouTube update, and I thought, why not do this live? We are close to Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. The idea of surprises, returns, debuts, people from NXT, perhaps some storylines that are going to start up from absolutely nothing, or stories continuing from WrestleMania 38. Plenty to dive into. If you've got any questions, feel free to join in the comments below. And of course, this will be a short stream, so less than half an hour. So if you want to get involved nice and early. We're going to talk about who I think will be debuting and returning on Raw this evening. And I'm going to give a host of names, and you can let me know your thoughts as well. And of course, one we do know for sure, Veer Mahaan is finally coming to Raw this evening. I'm really excited to see the pop this guy is going to get, because there's no doubt about it that Veer Mahaan has been coming from what, like 18, 19, 20 weeks at this point, longer than Emelina. It's almost on Glacier level at this point. And I do think that with the Raw after Mania crowd, Veer is probably going to get the biggest moment of his entire WWE career, because of that crowd is going to be massively into whatever he's doing. I'm hoping for his sake he's going to pick up a W. And before I give any more names, shout out to Ovi Manice from the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show is with us today. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for checking out the stream. And KXI as well is here. What's up, Steve? And how you are doing well as well. Hope you're all doing very well. Thank you for checking out the stream. Ovi saying here, it's about time. I was getting old waiting for him. Yeah, to be brutally honest, for me personally, I felt the same. I mean, when did he join? I think I was like 21 when he did. Definitely in the 30s now. But yeah, certainly interested to see what he will do tonight. KXI saying, I saw this in the community post. I think Elias will return and join Edge's new group. Love that suggestion. We'll be talking about Edge's group later in the stream. But first off, just to kick things off, going to give you my debuts and returns. So the people that I think that could come in no particular order, not really splitting this into any category, but start with the women's division. I think Bayley is one to keep an eye out for tonight. I think she was reportedly in Dallas around WrestleMania season. She's got to be good to go by this point. She's been out for, what, about 9-10 months at this point. She should be back in time. So I think Bayley could be a certain to return tonight. I think her against Bianca Belair could be a storyline direction. And personally, for me also, I'm intrigued to see the idea of Bayley versus Becky Lynch at some point, and also against Rhea Ripley. So those are some matches I really, really want to see. Asuka is another one to keep an eye out for as well. I think she could certainly return at some stage, although I wouldn't be surprised if she went to SmackDown. But again, some fresh matches there. I think Bianca versus Asuka will be something we haven't seen before as well with some of the matches. I mean, her versus Becky Lynch, lots of history there. So certainly could see that go again. But Alexa Bliss has been off TV. Nowhere on the road to WrestleMania apart from since that Elimination Chamber. She was with the 2022 version of Dr. Shelby. Not sure what that storyline is leading to, but hopefully she'll make a return this evening. I think that certainly is one I'd like to almost say with a bit of confidence. And last but not least, one could keep an eye out for, but I think could be more for SmackDown. Lacey Evans, I think, is one to keep an eye out for as well. She's, of course, become a mum, I believe, for the second time. It's been a little while now. I think there was a chance that she could return. A couple of others that I could say, perhaps from NXT, that I think will be a good shout. I think Bron Breakker is an absolute cert after not winning at Stand and Deliver. I think he'll definitely be on one of the shows, but he was on Raw before, so potentially Monday Night Raw could be the destination for him. Tommaso Ciampa is another one as well. He was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last Friday on SmackDown, had his swan song leaving NXT on Stand and Deliver, so he's a dead cert to come to a Raw or a SmackDown. And LA Knight is my other shout for you. I think he certainly would be one that I'd be really interested in seeing on Raw and SmackDown. Personally, for me, on the mic is absolutely sublime. I'd like to see him go on a mic off with The Miz, actually. I think that could be pretty darn entertaining. In the meantime, let's go to the chat and see what people are saying at the moment. Ovi saying here, interesting who will start the show tonight for Raw, and in case I even saying that it probably will be Cody. I think Cody Rhodes will be a great shout. I think it's certainly a possibility that one could happen. For me personally as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Roman Reigns kick off the show as well. I think that it could be a good chance that we're going to see whatever this new championship could be, if it's going to be presented to him. Maybe we'll get an idea what the feud is going to be as well. I think those two are probably the most likely to kick off the show. But hey, who knows? Maybe Bianca Belair could do so as well. Could perhaps start building her next program. That'd be interesting to see as well. Ovi saying here that Bayley versus Trish Stratus, it is a far stretch, knowing they are in a Twitter war. Personally, wouldn't mind if that was to happen at some point. Trish Stratus would be someone I'd love to see back in WWE, perhaps with Lita as well, perhaps go for the tag team titles. That would be something I'd be very, very keen on seeing. KXI saying that LA Knight will probably show up tonight. Be interested to see if LA Knight will show up. And like I say, for those that are checking out the stream right now, let me know your predictions, who you think will be coming now in the comments below. I've given a host of names already that I think could be coming in, and be interested to see what you guys think as well. Obi also saying Cody Rhodes and then Roman Reigns interrupts. Now that is an interesting proposition, although part of me hopes that Seth Rollins would want a bit of revenge as well, because for me, Cody and Seth had an amazing match at WrestleMania, and I would just like to see that have a proper program, go into WrestleMania Backlash, and then both can perhaps go their separate ways afterwards. But yeah, Roman Reigns could certainly be an interesting idea. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they will build that match nice and late, because I think Cody is going to be treated as a big deal. And arguably, he is re-debuting on Monday Night Raw this evening, so it kind of doesn't fit the theme of what this video is looking at as well. Have been said here about the idea of Edge and Damian Priest. One of the real fun parts of WrestleMania. Really enjoyed this. In fact, the WrestleMania review is up on the channel now. It was a bit later than perhaps what most stations do it. Unfortunately, being on the UK time, I watched it the day later. But yeah, we did that this evening UK time, this afternoon American time. And yeah, we really enjoyed this, myself and Jonesy Chats Wrestling. We discussed the idea about this, the idea of how we've got no answers to this and how it's going to build on to Raw this evening. This could be like a new Brood. This really has got that sort of feeling, that fit. Edge's WrestleMania entrance really had that Brood vibe, the way he was brought in. The fact that Damian Priest as well has, has previous, let's say previous experience is probably the right word for it, being Punishment Martinez and ROH with Kevin Sullivan, people like that. So he's had this sort of darker gimmick before. It gets him away from the Jekyll and Hyde stuff he was doing previously. So for me, I kind of like the idea of Edge and Priest as a duo. I think that we're going to get a full-on faction at some point. There has been rumors going around. I'm going to give a shout out to Tom Colohue for this, because I've checked out his stream earlier. Bit of information on perhaps maybe some names that could be joining in. Rhea Ripley was my favorite of the ones he suggested that females could be joining the group. Rhea Ripley, I think, would be a great natural fit for this group. Personally, for me, she's meant to be good friends with Damian Priest, so I think that goes hand in hand in itself. And just think that she would look good in this group. I think it would be really, really nice. Liv Morgan is another one there. If they want to go for the tag team element, that's certainly something they could do as well. And perhaps maybe some big stars will be joining from the men's side also. Been asked the question here if we can see AJ Styles and Finn Balor team up. This was something I also suggested on the WrestleMania review show. I think it's a possibility. Yes, I would say I'd really, really like to see, because you kind of got that Bullet Club kind of style reunion going on to go against this new Brood faction. Or is it like a corporate ministry? Not quite sure. Certainly Edge did have Undertaker Ministry of Darkness kind of vibes of his WrestleMania ring attire as well. So that, for me, personally, screamed a little bit of inspiration there. But for me personally, as a rivalry, as a tag team match, something I'd really like to see. So Obi, really like a shout. And I want to give a shout as well quickly to Obi's channel, the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. I do know that he's going to be doing, I believe it's like a Greatest Women's Champion Tournament. I don't know if it's the Divas Tournament. Obi, let me know so I can promote it properly for you. But that's going to be starting on his channel this week, and going to be going through brackets, and people can put their votes in as well on his website, Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, hhwshow.com. Give your votes in on who you think is the best women's wrestlers of all time. So that would be good to see who progresses in that tournament. Kanksai saying that the predictions there, Elias, great shout there, LA Knight and perhaps maybe Bron Breakker. Elias is a good one because Elias has been missing for so long. I'd like to see what he would do if he was brought back in now to WWE. Obviously, Rick Boogs now is out injured for a while, so that leaves a bit of a space with the guitar gimmick as well. He's not really training on any toes if he was to be on SmackDown, but personally, if he was to be on Raw, it's a 3-hour show. There's more variety. So I like the idea of Elias being brought back to Raw. I think that's a really, really good suggestion. KXI also saying, I had a feeling they would team up since they turned heel on the same night. Interesting philosophy, yeah, to be fair. I didn't even think of that. They did turn heel on the same night. And one other little nugget as well, if you really want to go for long-term booking, didn't Damian Priest get advice from Edge about the Royal Rumble match earlier this year? I'm not saying it's been in the works since then, but certainly feels like maybe, just maybe, WWE has a long-term plan here. It's very, very interesting. Rhea Ripley is seen as a good fit. I do think it'll be a good fit for Edge's group if that was to go down. Have to see if it will or it won't go down. And last comment in for the second, I feel rather Elias or TBar will join, but if they want to make this faction legit, maybe change T-Bar's name. That is a fantastic suggestion. T-Bar would be awesome for this group. But yeah, going back to Dijakovic all day long because he's a big dude. I think he'd fit in quite well with the narrative. If they want to go with a tag team, him and Priest could work well. They could do a lot with that. T-Bar is a fantastic suggestion because he's not really got a lot going on, and he's a heck of a performer. Had some great matches, even one fantastic match. I believe it was like a street fight last year with Damian Priest. That is a great idea. I personally really, really like that. Over saying yes there, I think he likes that idea as well. And Edge and Priest had a backstage statement about Priest on Priest's debut. Fantastic, interesting. Wasn't actually remembering that, so thank you for bringing that up. And Supersonic X is in the house. Thank you for checking out the stream. Bayley should be coming back as a face. That's a great suggestion. And Asuka return as a heel, perhaps getting revenge on Charlotte. Well, if that was to be the case, Asuka would have to go to SmackDown, which personally, I wouldn't be against at this point. I want Asuka to have TV time wherever she goes. So personally, for me, wherever she ends up, as long as she's wrestling in ring, I'll personally be happy. Bayley, I totally agree. I think it's almost going to be like a Triple H return back in 2002. Do you remember Triple H's return to MSG and he got the big raw and big pop? Bayley will get that because she's over. She is really over with a lot of the people. Even though she's the heel character before, I think she can tweak it, make it work as a babyface. And you know, if they want to do rivalries with her against heels or whatever they want to do, they can make it work. Personally, I say Bayley versus Becky Lynch is a feud I really want to see. And I really think Bayley will be potentially the big name that will return this evening. If you had to say to me one name that you think is bigger than the rest that would cause and create headlines, I think Bayley is the one. Although at the same time, I will ask the question to the chat now and let me know what you think. Should Bayley be on the same show as Sasha Banks? Sasha Banks, of course, now tag team champions with Naomi. They can go to both shows as well. So that could be quite interesting to see as well. So yeah, there's lots of different dynamics with it. So have to see how it will play out. Ovi saying that he is loving the show. Thank you very much, Ovi. Feel free to drop in with any more comments as well. So if you've got any more comments, any more predictions, let me know. As I say, this is a short stream before Raw, so interested to know what your thoughts are. Like I say, Veer Mahaan is going to be very interesting. I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do. Probably not a part of Edge's group, I wouldn't have thought, but there has been rumors that a character change could be in place of Veer. So I'm very interested and hoping it's not going to be a 24/7 segment. But hey, we'll have to see. Power to him, whatever they decide to do. But yeah, it's going to be a big show. What is Cody Rhodes going to do? As I said in the stream, I hope it continues with Seth Rollins, but wouldn't be surprised to see what happens there. I mentioned Roman Reigns as well. Let's see potentially what could be a challenger. As Jonesy and I discussed earlier, we think Bobby Lashley would be the perfect opponent to go into WrestleMania Backlash because at the moment, Lashley got a big win over Omos on WrestleMania. I was surprised by that. So yeah, interesting to see how that will go down. Jake is in the house. Jake, you're from Australia. Where can you watch Raw live? I'm sure that you can find it on the internet if there is no potential television stations in Australia. Unfortunately, I'm not too knowledgeable on Australian networks of where WWE is showing, but certainly I'm sure if you look somewhere on Google, if it's not available there, I'm sure you will find somewhere, and maybe someone can help with dropping a link of some description. Maybe we'll help Jake out, but make sure it is legit if you are doing so. But like I say, if there is any more comments or any more questions, then now is the time. We'll probably wrap up the stream in the next 5 minutes or so. Of course, if no more does come in, we'll be doing it sooner. But like I say, drop a like on this video if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe to SCW as well. And make sure to go and check out the WrestleMania review show if you haven't already. Certainly was a lot of fun doing that with Jonesy. We discussed night 1 and night 2. They are in chapter form as well. So if you want to go and check those out, definitely feel free to go and do so. And like I say, it should be a big night on Raw this evening. To give my final predictions, I give a lot of names there for you. Let's give you some final predictions of what I think and who will be turning up this evening. We know Veer is coming. We know Cody will be on Raw for the first time in over 6 years. I think Bayley will be there. I do think LA Knight will be there. Bron Breakker and Tommaso Ciampa. Those are going to be my definite picks. And I really hope Alexa Bliss makes a return as well. But it does seem a lot of returns in one night. So perhaps maybe we're looking at a couple of those rather than all of them. But I do think WWE will go all out for this Raw after Mania. It feels like it's the first time in a number of years that they've been able to do so. Jake has come in and said, do you also think that it's too early for Cody to go for the world title? Should it be SummerSlam program or having him win the 2023 Royal Rumble? Great suggestion there. The Rumble will be a great place for it. For me personally, I think Money in the Bank is another place that would be quite suitable. At the moment, I've got Cody or Austin Theory potentially to win Money in the Bank, and perhaps the other person could win the Royal Rumble this year. It's a very, very early prediction at this stage. But hey, if you can't predict early, when can you predict? But certainly for me to answer that question, I do think it's slightly just too early for Cody. I'd like to see him perhaps not earn a position, but like, get a few big wins together before going for it. SummerSlam feels like a suitable place. Maybe, like you say, Royal Rumble period could work well as well. I think if Cody goes for it at WrestleMania Backlash and loses, where does Cody go next? He's almost someone that would fall down the pecking order very, very quickly. I could see personally with him that he'd get lost in the shuffle. And don't get me wrong, he could go for the United States Championship, maybe not the worst thing, but that wasn't on WrestleMania. So for me personally, I would like to see Cody hold off for the time being. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble is the better suggestions of getting Cody that momentum to go there. Some big wins in the meantime. If he was to face Roman at this stage, I think he loses. Too Sweet Carl is in house from On the Mark podcast. Thank you for checking out the stream, Carl. Hope you're doing very, very well. Quickly, let me know your predictions because we're going to close off the stream in a couple of minutes' time. Who do you think is turning up on Raw this evening? I've given my final predictions already. I do think that coming in this evening, we are going to get Bayley as the big one. We know Veer Mahaan is debuting at last. I wish I had a good fantasy booking video for that one. I do expect as well that we will get, obviously, we are going to get Cody. Will he debut and start off the show? That's a possibility. But as I say, LA Knight, Bron Breakker, Tommaso Ciampa, all expected as well. Although perhaps maybe, I'm just going to say this now as a last thought, LA Knight may be a good fit for SmackDown because they are lacking some baby faces. Just before I leave, Too Sweet Carl said it. I think we see Breakker, Ciampa, and maybe Bayley. Agree with you there. So thank you very much, Carl, for sharing yours. And make sure to check out On the Mark podcast as well. I believe you can let me know in the chat the days that you do, but I believe Thursday is a very regular date for your podcast. Also was involved in a recent What is the Greatest WrestleMania Match video that I did on this channel. So make sure and go and subscribe. It's a great channel. Definitely one of those that I'm enjoying a lot. One of those that I've only found in the recent months, but yeah, highly recommend. Too Sweet Carl, always doing fantastic content. And just before I finish up, does suggest LA Knight to SmackDown absolutely would be a very, very good fit. And just to clarify as well, Thursday is the day. So yeah, don't miss them. They're fantastic. And also, don't miss SCW. More videos will be dropping through the week. Yes, we have done WrestleMania. It's probably a rest period for a couple of days, but I'm looking to do my regular Q&A this week, bring that back into the fold, perhaps a couple of big videos as well if I get the opportunity. But thank you everyone for watching anyway. This has been a short live stream to just give my predictions. If you've missed anything, go back to the start. There's been a few cracking questions in this as well. Please like, share, and subscribe. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube. Take care, and thank you for watching. All the best.